Hey everyone, Morgan here. So when it comes to medical conditions, if you have a medical condition, I highly recommend that you prep for that medical condition, especially, for blackouts and things. Like if any of your medical supplies have to do with, battery backups or having to see a doctor to get certain prescriptions, I highly suggest that you prep any medical condition concerns. So here are some ideas, especially when it comes to like a CPAP. There are lots of alternative batteries, battery packs, things like that you can get, and then you can charge them with like a solar or your car or an inverter or something like that. You can charge it a variety of ways with a generator, whatever you have. And many of these battery backups can actually last several hours, I see. Not several hours, several days rather. You need it overnight, right? So planning for your CPAP, just have those extra batteries ready to go. A lot of people really rely on a CPAP machine, and so just find the battery backups that would suit your needs. If you use some sort of oxygen tank or somebody in your family uses one, you should probably have at least one or two backups and then have them easily accessible to everyone in the household. Don't hide them away behind in the back of closets or anything like that. But, your insurance might be able to cover it, or maybe you can save up to try to get one or two every once in a while. But having those backups would be very important during an emergency disaster and just every day. But the next thing I want to talk about would be, if you need to control some sort of, ailment like diabetes. There's lots of foods that you can store that maybe they're not fresh, but you can still kind of store a lot of the same types of foods, to help control your diabetes or what other health concern that you're concerned about during an emergency or disaster. Like for instance, like fatty fishes, there's canned tunas and canned salmon. Sure, they're not fresh, but you can store those canned items. Then leafy greens, if you can have a garden and garden the spinach and the lettuce and things like that, or you can get canned spinach. And then cinnamon, of course, just get lots of cinnamon. Powdered eggs, freeze-dried eggs for your eggs, or get chickens. Chia seeds, those are good to store. Lots of ways to store those. Throw them in your oatmeal. Turmeric, love that. Great health advantages. Greek yogurt, that's a little bit of a toughy one, but you do without it. Like nuts, pretty good shelf life, can go rancid, but not bad. Broccoli, there's like freeze-dried, dehydrated broccoli. Olive oil, great fat to store. Definitely highly recommended. Flaxseed, of course, another really good one. Apple cider vinegar, everyone should be storing apple cider vinegar. Strawberries, freeze-dried, dehydrated strawberries. Garlic, great spice. Gotta have garlic. Squash, more specifically, you can store like canned pumpkin. That would be all right. Or, grow it in your garden. The noodles has a pretty good shelf life. Those are just recommended items. Of course, there's lots of other things. If you have, the ailment, you would know how to store for it, right? The next one would be medications. Most doctors, or rather most insurance companies, will offer an extra 30-day supply. Just talk to your doctor and say, hey, for emergencies, I just want some extra medications, and make sure you're properly storing it. Ask for advice or look up on the internet. There's lots of conflicting information about the best way to store it. Some say fridge, some say don't. But anyway, you can get an extra little bit of supply at least, and then you can store it for those emergencies and disasters, so you can have those medications, when you need them. And so speaking of medications, we may want to think about alternative medicines, lots of natural herbs and plants and things that they really work. I really want you to look up alternative medications, alternative plants, alternative herbs for your specific needs. And of course, if you want to talk to your doctor about it, definitely talk to your doctor. It wouldn't, unless you're allergic to it, it doesn't really hurt to try those alternative means in addition to whatever else that you're doing, right? Modern medicine is great, but there's a lot of great medicinal plants out there that have been working forever, for a variety of reasons. So Look at alternative health options, herbal teas, make your own, get your own supplies, vitamins, all those different things, and for whatever specific ailments that you might want to treat. So when it comes to any, medical concern, you should know what you need for your specific needs. And since we're preppers, we can look into how we can prep and stay prepared in emergency or disaster to sustain our health in emergency or disaster. And a lot of people may be like, oh, well, canned foods are not really healthy. Well, they're healthier than starving to death or healthier than, just not having it to begin with. And so plan now and get the resources and the things that you need in order to maintain your health in general. Those vitamins, those, the CPAP, if you need gluten-free stuff, then get gluten-free flour. Store this stuff that you need. That's it for today's video. Conquer tomorrow by preparing today. Thanks everyone for watching.